To be sure, to be sure. Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I hope you're not looking for something serious. There's a whole heap of serious flying around out there. So if you're ready just to chill out and goof off and kick back, this is the place for you. And of course, we'll be preparing for the main game in town. Yes, the Kev Baker Show live from 10 p.m. in the UK. Just a mere 1 hour and 27 minutes from now. Are you ready? Are you ready to hear about the last Leprechaun Whisperer?
How dare you!
Uh-oh. Best behaviour today then. And in the chat room, oh, at least I'll know when there's a shoe coming at me, right? How y'all doing, folks? I hope you are all well. Hope you've had a nice weekend. Hope you enjoyed the content over the weekend. We had Scotty Lopez on Saturday and then Bill Bean yesterday. Dang, is Bill Bean knocking it out the park with these topics that he is picking for Warrior Mode. And I want to thank all of you that are filing in today. And like I say, folks, if you're looking for something probably value for your time right now, if you're looking for some answer to some of the bigger questions and mysteries and problems in the world, probably, in fact, definitely isn't going to be the stream for you. I've had a whole heap of seriousness going on. Stayed up all night, watched what was going on in the US, and yeah, I just need to escape from all of that crazy today. So I found the perfect story for us. We're going to be taking a look at, and I don't want to hear one person laughing at this. And I'm glad Joe Joseph isn't here as well, because today I'm going to unveil for you a very special character. Indeed, there's not many of his ilk out there. In fact, I question if there are any others out there. Because today we might just be talking about, I don't have a mirror yet, but you know I'm going to try the last of the Leprechaun Whisperers. Go on. Yes. Thought my soundboard was going to start playing up there. Yeah. So something kind of cool, silly, weird, woo to chill out over, kick back, relax, take our mind off the seriousness before another night falls in the US. Who only knows what's going to unfold. But before we get into the crazy that I've got for us today, and this definitely qualifies for crazy, let me assure you, let me tell you what's going to be happening on the show tonight, and I'll give you all a little shout out in the chat room. So first up, come over here, and if you're here, I would imagine you're already subscribed to the backup channel, but maybe if you're watching this as a replay, please remember, if you like what you see, just hit the subscribe button. And we usually have daily content, at least one show, stream, something a day. Can't go as far as to call what we're about to do a show. Definitely wouldn't qualify as a show. But tonight on the show, I'm actually going to be talking about exploring the unknown, true accounts from a paranormal investigator. And in true para-abnormal fashion, that there makes it sound like we have got one guest, but no. We have got two for the price of one because I'm going to be welcoming back Steve and Jen Hodgson. Now they're coming to us from Indiana, I believe. Steve is from New York. He's got that New York accent thing going on. Love it. And they're going to be back on tonight to talk about Jen's book, which is called Exploring the Unknown. Now we're going to be getting into a whole host of paranormal topics just an hour and a half from now on the TFR Live YouTube channel or over on tfrlive.com. And keep your fingers crossed out there, okay? Because the last time I had Steve and Jen on, I went to record it on the back end so I could upload either clips of it or the full thing, and it was going to be the full thing. Really breathtaking. It was great the first time they came on. Didn't know what I was getting. Bill had kind of put together the show at the last minute, and wow. I never regret it when Bill says to me, Kev, I think you might like these people or this person or that person. And Steve and Jen definitely tick that box. So we're going to be on tfrlive.com. There's a chat room over there as well that you can get to. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we will get the recording done on the back end and we'll be able to upload either the full show or maybe some really kind of highlight clips out of it. But knowing the topic and knowing what I know about Steve and Jen, got a funny feeling this might be one that needs to go up in its entirety. So fingers crossed for that. Into the chat room. Let's see who has decided they want to come and chill out. And yeah, Jason, First Paranormal. Are these the guys who were on with Bill Bean? Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And I know you kind of liked that show the first time round, Jason. And yeah, maybe even open up the phone in the final segment. Or yeah, we'll see what we can do. We've probably got a whole heap of stuff to talk about, but I know, Jason, this is going to be right up your street. It really, really is. And at the very least, I'll make sure that I hook you and Stephen and Jen up on Facebook at the very least, all right? So, who else we got in there? We got Armand sneaking in there. How you doing, buddy? Leslie, the absolutely fantastically named Rhesus Christ. Yes, indeed. Sam is in there. John, Lewis. Who else we got? AJ, how you doing, AJ? Sam, I think I got that one. Queen Goddess, I got that one. Lewis, yep. Jose Ramon, how you doing? Rick Anderson, Anne's in there. We've got Orange Head, aka Polly Fraud. Is that our friend, like one Polly? And then we've got Dave Adam. Ouch. 7 weeks without the internet. Oh, that must have been sore. Or was it good? Dave, tell us in the chat room. Aside from maybe a bit of boredom, bit of readjusting, did you sleep better? Did you get used to not having the internet quickly? That'd be quite interesting. Who else we got? Let's say Brian is lurking. Brian's a long time lurker, long time listener. Yep. Who else we got? We got Blue. Blue is back now. Blue is busy looking after 5 kids, managing a family. She's a bit like myself, you know, balancing all these plates at once. And it's great to see you back, Blue. Who else we got in here? And Jason was our first today. And like I've said on the chat room, and I said it in the description, with all the seriousness out there right now, it's not my place to add to it. So it's nice and fun and infotainment today on the pre-show stream. And when you get into a topic like the last Leprechaun Whisperer, I think that definitely qualifies as both fun, entertainment, and pretty para-abnormal, right? So let's get into this. The last Leprechaun Whisperer. There he is! There is the legend himself. Look at him. That's the face of a man that talks to little people. Don't let me find out any of you out there is doubting the veracity of this story, nor do I want to hear any kind of murmurings or rumours that leprechauns may not exist. What are you talking about? Go with me on this one, right? This is actually really interesting when you get into it. It says Ireland's last living leprechaun whisperer says that the mythical Irish fairies are coping well with everything going on in the world right now and don't have a problem with the restrictions that are in place. Kevin Woods, that's the name of that jolly gentleman right there, and he's from Carlingford in County Louth or Louth. I'll probably get murdered by Irish listeners. Is a prominent leprechaun advocate and an activist. Yeah, there's leprechaun activists out there, folks, with a history of campaigning for leprechaun rights. Get this, in the past, he has successfully lobbied for the mythical Irish fairies to receive EU protection. Well, let me tell you, it was probably easy to make that case because they wouldn't have been the first fairies to have joined the EU, right? So he also happens to run a bus tour named The Last Leprechauns of Ireland. Is he LARPing at being a leprechaun whisperer? Is he just doing this to get people on his bus? Does he go on mad mystical tours of little places and things where you can't see the star attraction? I'm just saying. And considers himself an authority and a custodian on the iconic Irish sprites. Do you think, with him being the authority figure on leprechauns, do you think that maybe the algorithm might take unkindly to this stream that I'm doing right now? I mean, who the hell am I to talk about leprechauns, right? I mean, I've never studied them. I ain't some, like, Facebook leprechaun forensic detective. You know, I don't have a vast history of case studies into the little fellas. I don't. So, I'm not saying I'm, like, fake leprechaun news, but I'm not authoritative, and I just want to get that out of the way, just in case the algorithm thinks I'm kind of trying to pull a fast one here. So it says then, and by the way, who made him custodian of the iconic Irish sprites? How do you apply for that job? I want it. It says, with Ireland caught up in the current Andromeda hoo-ha crisis that's going on, Woods sought to reassure the public that Ireland's leprechauns are doing just fine during an appearance on ITV's This Morning. Now, I want you to bear in mind that this is the same This Morning that Piers Morgan, or you know, him that masquerades around on social media like he's the be-all and end-all and the most serious kind of mainstream kind of media journalist authority in the country. Yeah, he hosts a show that they speak to the leprechaun whisperer. Okay? What? Is it right? Hang on. So where's he? Is he on Good Morning? GM? No. Now Anne's trying to say that I've got it wrong with Piers Morgan, but either way, I'm pretty sure he hosted the show. This Morning? Is he not on This Morning? Eamon Holmes ain't on This Morning. He hasn't done that for years. And you see, this is what happens in my house. You see, Anne's going to be wrong on both counts, okay? She probably isn't, but being a leprechaun, I have to kind of go with it. So it says here anyway, I'm not going to let Anne trigger me, right? It says here, according to the leprechaun whisperer, are you listening? The Irish fairies are doing just fine, even though their numbers have dwindled in recent times. This is where it gets really interesting. Wait till you hear what's happening, right? There were millions of them here in Ireland. Okay, I have to tell you that Anne was right. I was right, and okay, I got my morning shows wrong. Imagine me for not being an expert on morning shows. It would have been a good joke if Piers Morgan had been there. Can we just pretend? But it says here there used to be millions. Now, I don't know who took the last census on the leprechauns, but between then and now, they've all passed away, apart from 236 of them. And he explained this to, oh no, here we go. Hosts Ruth Langford and Eamon Holmes. There we go, and you get your moment. There we go. So, yeah, and I'm even going to play a dolphin noise for you, Anne. Only because it's her favourite animal. What can I say, folks? But, yeah. Anyway, now we've got that out of the way, right? It says, I'm really the custodian of them and their lives. And I've been doing that since I got them a protected species, and he's not even lying. Like it was saying at the start, he is literally the world's only leprechaun activist. but he's actually created real change in the world. Because before this, I can tell you, leprechauns were pretty persecuted. Oh, you can laugh, you can joke. Most people deny they even exist. Do you know what it's like to be a leprechaun? Nobody sees you. You know, not a part of something. The butt of many a joke. You know, YouTubers making fun out of you, things like that. It's not nice. Up until this guy here, what's his name again? Ken something? Kevin Woods. See, it had to be a Kevin, right? He changed the world for leprechauns. So don't you be judging. No, no, no. What change have you made in the world? Eh? Just saying. says says here. This is a tweet that somebody had put out. This is what kind of alerted me to it. Started seeing tweets about a leprechaun whisperer. But surely there can't be a leprechaun whisperer, right? But can't believe that a leprechaun whisperer on this morning talking about staying in the house because of Andromeda. Hoo-ha. Yes, exactly. This is what British morning mainstream TV's come to. And whether it's Eamon Holmes, yes, Anne, you were right, or Piers Morgan, either one of them. These are people that try to make out that they're authoritative and they're better than the likes of me or any of you that turn our hand to say a bit of citizen journalism. Never ever let them forget the fact that they peddle in leprechaun whisperers, folks. Uh-huh. Yep, indeedy. So during the interview, Mr. Woods explained that whilst most people cannot see the leprechauns, you see, there's still a deep-rooted racism going on here. You know, for epochs, these little creatures. It's not that people can't see them; they ignore them. That they actively turn a blind eye to them. They pretend they're not there. Leprechaun lives matter. Exactly, AJ. You know, you want to find something to protest about, something real. There you go. Leprechaun lives matter. I like it. So, during the interview, Mr. Woods explained that most people can't see the leprechauns and he has special powers that mean they appear to him and communicate through an out of body experience. Now, I want us to listen to this bit here because it could be a bit of woo. Now, asked how the leprechauns are coping with having to stay indoors for long periods of time, Mr. Woods confirmed, well, they don't have a problem with it. And while Mr. Wood's tour business has taken a bit of a hit over the past few months, he's not worried. Oh, it's not really business to me. I have enough access to the gold, he explained. I don't need the business. I don't tell people the story is true. And they also sought to assure viewers that his dalliances, now I actually think they tried to type that in an Irish accent, they tried to assure the viewers that his dalliances with the Irish fairies have not broken any of the government's lockdown measures. There you go, that's what it was trying to say, dalliances. So leprechauns are spirits. You see, he should have opened with that. When Eamon Holmes said to him, he probably said it quite smugly, you know, how are they getting on with lockdown? He should have said, you stupid Eamon, they're spirits. You can't lock down a spirit. Why are you, some kind of fake news peddler? So they manifest themselves to me as leprechauns. I visit them each day, and I haven't broken the restrictions. So even in astral travel, this character, this legend of a leprechaun whisperer is adhering to social ether distancy type rules. But think about this, okay? Leprechauns are spirits. They manifest themselves to me as leprechauns. I don't think he intended to admit something there. But if we were going to take this a little bit more seriously, let's say this dude is in communication with what he thinks is leprechauns every day. Do we think it's really leprechauns, or could it be something hiding, pretending they're leprechauns, and in fact, he's in communicate with something not so friendly, not so jokey, and well, something from the spiritual realm. Now, you can laugh at me, you can joke, but I've said many a time there's something mad, something magical, something crazy about in the forest. And if you go up to Inverness, when we're not finished with the Leprechaun Whisperer yet. Oh no, 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 no. But look at this place here. This is right up where I stayed, just outside Inverness. It's the Fairy Glen. And Rosemarkie Fairy Glen, right? And it's a place where there's a walk, there's a tour, and it's rumoured that back in the day, these magical little fairies would be in there, right? And bear in mind as well, it's not a stone's throw from Clava Cairns, the stone circles that we talk about on here. My point being, I know it's easy to laugh, it's easy to joke, but in reality, you know me well enough by now to know that I think there is something going on in the woods. Now, are fairies and leprechauns one and the same thing? Tomatoes, tomatoes. But in the end of the day, could he be communicating with the energies of the forest? Or with the Irish leprechaun? Why not? I communicate them through an out-of-body experience. Everyone knows what I mean, and I can transfer my spirit up there. So we're definitely talking about some kind of astral travel going on. And I would never knock astral travel in any other circumstance. So I'm not just going to take all of this story and make fun of it. I am having fun with it, but not making fun of him. All right? Because I tell you, you just don't know. All right? I provide, you decide. So we come down here and it says Leprechaun Man on this morning has really cheered me up. You don't know how much the leprechauns are affected by the Andromeda hoo-ha that's out there. Big crying smiley face. Yes, unfortunately, not everyone is quite so convinced. With a flood of this morning viewers taking to Twitter to criticise and question his appearance on the show. Oh, get a life. You know, A, you were sat there watching Eamon Holmes in the first place, and B, you felt so disturbed with everything going on in the world right now. You thought, I'll use my 184 characters to unload on interviewing a leprechaun whisperer. Really? Really? Come on. Who's the bigger problem here? The leprechaun whisperer or somebody so full of hate they had to go and just do that? I don't know. So one wrote, can't believe they had a leprechaun whisperer on this morning talking about it all. The second comment is Ruth is trying to keep a straight face when your man's talking about leprechauns is killing me. And a third, meanwhile, said, you know you've been in the house too long when you're watching an interview of Ireland's last leprechaun whisperer. Yes, indeedy. There he is, right there, ladies and gents. And I don't know if this cat can whisper to the leprechauns or not, but you have to agree that for the number one para-abnormal show that you do listen to, that's a bit out there. You weren't expecting the leprechaun whisperer. Please tell me you weren't expecting that. Nobody woke up today and thought, I'm going to second guess, I'm going to try and predict where the wee man's going today. Leprechaun whispering. Nowhere else, I'm telling you. But something else we looked at just the other day, and I've had a lot of feedback on it, okay? And that's the end of the leprechaun. It's not the end of Ireland, though. And people may have tuned in to the end of the stream that I'd done with Scotty on Saturday night. Now, if you didn't, I'm going to put it over here. And we listened to this crazy noise.
Okay, guys, listen to this. There's a sound screaming. It's like a scream. It's so freaking loud, and it's coming from up in the air, like up there. It's been going on now.
Now, if you haven't heard that, I'm going to post it in the chat room so you can go and see it, okay? Now, the reason I bring it up again today, Jason says, not only surprised about leprechauns, I've not overly surprised, I've recently done a, now I think that should be, is that a Pixie or is it Pisky video? Piskies, are they related? Or is that like Pixie? Dang. Now I'm confused. Karen, yes, exactly. It scared me too. That noise that we heard. Now, somebody came along, one of our listeners. Big shout out to Stephanie. Yeah, definitely Stephanie. And she brought up something that I'd never heard of before, right? Now, I've never heard of this animal, but have any of you heard of a fisher cat? Fisher cat? Any of you? I haven't heard of it, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here's the fisher cat over here. Now, Stephanie says it could be like a banshee. It sounds like that kind of thing, but a fisher cat is what we're looking at. So if we come over here, this there is fisher cats. There you go. They're like the tough guys of the weasels, as it says there. So I've got a little video of what a fisher cat might sound like if you want to listen to that. I don't know. Let's take a listen.
All right, guys, so it's currently, what time is it? 11:30. It's 11:30, and there's a fisher cat in my woods, so if you've never heard one, this is what it sounds like. It sounds like... Whoa. Legit. A child screaming in the woods. Listen. Tell me that.
Versus.
What is that? I swear I saw like this thing when the lightning was flashing a second ago. What the fuck? Dude, that's coming from like up in the sky outside of my apartment.
I don't know, folks. I don't know. I don't know if that's the same thing. I'm going to be back in a moment. We're going to take a little break, and then we're going to move into the Banshees of Ireland. Only here on KBS pre-show. Hit share, hit like, leave a comment. Me love you long time. And I'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Look at that thumbnail. That is classic, isn't it? The last of the Leprechaun Whisperers. You know, on another timeline, that was probably a really jamming film. Probably has a really cool cast in it. Myself and Tom Cruise were about the right size for it, right? Now then, we're gonna take a little listen to just maybe a minute or so of the Piskies of Dartmoor. The only reason we're gonna listen to a minute or so is because I don't want you to listen to it here. I want all 73 of yous to check this out after we finish up, because this is my good friend Jason, First Paranormal. We all love it when he comes on to KBS. So let's take a listen to a bit of this.
Since time ticked away its fast hour, the little folk have lived in the caverns and caves of Sheepstore. For generations they have toiled in the gently flowing streams, streaming for gold. They have dug into the very bowels of the moor in search of the precious metal. For thousands of years they managed to hide their secret, even from the ancients who built the nearby stone circle. But eventually a few Mormon came to know their secret, and a solemn pact came into being. As long as the folk of the little village never revealed the Piskies' hidden wealth, they would live in harmony, helping each other whenever needed. Accordingly, the Piskies would help the farmers and protect the miners. On the Moor folks' part, they would leave out food and presents in the Piskies' cave, which was the entrance to their underground labyrinth.
Ooh, look at that place.
But as time passed, it happened that the humans needed something far more precious than gold. They needed water. To this end, a huge dam was built, and before long it had flooded many of the Piskies' magical places, such as their fairy rings and meeting places. Even their magic could not stop the men and their machines. Don't get me wrong, they tried, but all in vain. So it is today that no longer do the little people live on the tor, and no longer do they help the villagers of Sheepstore. They took with them their secret knowledge of the precious gold deposits, but one thing they did leave behind were many stories of their exploits, such as
you will need to go and watch the link that I'm about to drop for you in the chat room so that you can find out about the Piskies of Dartmoor yourself. Yes, I'll find a way of getting people over to your channel, Jason, if it's the last thing that I do. But isn't it interesting that this story here touches on the little people and their association with the gold, as did the legend, the man himself. Yes, there he is, Kevin Woods. Yes, it had to be a Kevin. It was maybe the world's last leprechaun whisperer. And look how happy he looks. You know, perhaps with the reality being stranger than fiction, maybe he does have access to some of that gold that they're talking about. But we're going to stay on the Emerald Isle, because I found an even... I think I found a website that could become as crucial to the KBS operation as, say, the Mysterious Universe. Because today I came across a new website, and even the name of it, you'll know why I've fallen in love with it right away. It's called anomalyinfo.com. This has got like an A to Z of absolute reams and reams and reams of woo. It's unbelievable. Take a look at this, because, you know, we heard that strange noises there. And ZX was talking about the length of the noise. That's what's really weird about it. I still can't put my finger quite on what it is. I really can't. Banshees have been talked about in the chat room before as well. And it's Banshees in Ireland that we're going to next. So if I take you over here to what is a potentially very good website. And it says here, Banshees, the Death Seers of Ireland. Now then, it says here, who sits upon the heath forlorn, with robes so free and tresses torn? Upon she pours a harrowing strain, and then she sits all mute again. Now peals the wild funeral cry, and now it sinks into a sigh. And that comes from Orons, I think you pronounce that. So it says here, and I know that's really probably quite difficult to see and read, folks, but it says in Ireland there's an old tradition of women singing laments at funerals to communicate or to commemorate, the passing of a loved one. But there are also phantom women in Ireland who are heard to sing laments for certain people before they pass. Now, the singer of these phantom laments are now called Banshee, said to be an anglicization of either Bean Sid, Irish for woman fairy, or Bean Sai, woman of peace, or woman of the mound. And while common legend claims that banshees only sing for members of the first 5 oldest Irish families, the O'Grady's, the O'Neills, the O'Briens, the O'Connors, and Kavanaghs, there are stories that tell of banshees singing for other families too. It is also generally believed that people with great status in Ireland may have banshees, no matter who their family is. And banshees will always appear, when they are visible, as human females, sometimes ghostly, sometimes solid, but capable of supernaturally disappearing. Some people believe the banshee was or are fairy women who care about the doomed people. Others have theorized that they must be voices, the voices must be of that of ghosts, perhaps the former members of the families of the doomed people. Both of these, however, appear to be only guesses about the true nature of these beings. And surprisingly, I dug backwards looking for legendary banshee tales, and I discovered something very odd. The oldest tales are not legends, but first-hand reports of actual encounters. And the idea of generic banshee behaviour and fictional tales about them only seem to start around 1860, 1870, after the earlier first-hand encounter stories, become well known across Europe in the Victorian era. So we often say on this show that when you're dealing with myths and legends and things like stories like leprechauns, stories like fairies, things like that, always keep an open mind. Always keep an open mind, because we're starting to find there's always that little grain of truth at the start. There's always that origin event or events that really gave birth to, as it says here, a story that only became fictional later on, after the first-hand accounts. Pretty strange, right? And how many times do we hear about ghosts appearing as white ladies or the lady in green? You know, we often even kind of talk about it when we come across one of these stories on the show, right? Pretty weird, pretty woo. But pretty good for a bit of pre-show, non-serious, hanging out, chilling out, leprechauns, banshees, fairies. Where do we go next? Well, I'll tell you where we go next, because we're kind of sticking with the woo, we're sticking with the paranormal, because we're going to be hooking up with a couple of paranormal researchers in just under an hour over on tfrlive.com and TFR Live YouTube channel. And we're going to be talking paranormal with them. And I think to get us in the mood, I've got the perfect story to take us there. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to keep you waiting. I'm going to get a little drink. I'm going to wet my whistle. I'm going to pretend I'm PPPing. Because yes, if you want to support the show, PayPal would be very, very, very greatly appreciated, but not necessary. And I will be back in a few moments, folks, to tell you about, get this, you ready? When phantom black dogs are accompanied by equally phantom type people. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Thank you, First Paranormal. It's Jason. Check out that link. That is the TFR Live YouTube channel. Thank you, brother. Right after I get done with this next story, I think the perfect way to supplement that would be Jason's newest video. He says he went to Hellhounds Church and had a weird experience with a blue light disc. What the... Yes, there we go. My bunch is getting bigger. Getting a bit of bounce about it now. Yep, I'll need to start using the old L'Oreal and flicking it when I come on the camera and things, you know? Yes, indeedy. So then, we are going to get in now to... Well, Jason's done a video about hellhounds. We're going to be talking about phantom black dogs and the mysterious people that accompany them. Now, I don't know about you, but it just wouldn't have felt right today if we hadn't at least once have gone to our mysterious universe. And Mr. Nick Redfern. I'm not going to bother saying what I always say. Just get back to me, Nick. Do it. Come on. Most people who have an interest in the field of cryptozoology and the supernatural will have heard of the phantom black dogs. If, however, you have not, here's a brief summary from the Anomalies website. Tales are told of a large, semi-phantom dog with fur that's blacker than the night and eyes that burn like red coals. And it's not a...
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
It's not a Mothman. It's a dog, okay? The red eyes, I get it's similar, but...
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
It's not that. So then, it says here, these black dogs appear and disappear in a moment and can be solid as any true dog or thin as smoke whenever they wish. Black dogs are one of the more complicated paranormal phenomena reported, both having a clearly legendary base of stories coupled with claims of first and second-hand actual sightings and encounters. Are they a story that's come to be mistaken for real, or are they a real phenomena that has been cloaked in myth? It is unlikely a clear answer will ever be found, although doesn't it fit nicely with the Leprechaun story that's out there, you know? Is it just all made up, or is it based in fact? Modern Farmer, not your usual kind of cryptozoological publication, I would imagine, provides the following. Tales, or maybe it is actually, maybe like Modern Farmer, maybe it's like talking about Bigfoot and like if you were literally farming modern cryptids. It's maybe one we could check out, hey, who knows. Tales of monstrous black dogs, often with glowing red eyes, abound worldwide, but especially in England. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And it says they're called the Gert dog. Padfoot, or sorry, I missed out a full line there. Black Shuck is a popular one, but many regions have their own version. They're called the Gert dog, Padfoot, Barquest, the Hairy Hound, the Yeth Hound, and the Grim, among other names. And in the Isle of Man, they're called a Moddy Doo. Black dog legends inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Hound of the Baskervilles, and a Grim makes an appearance in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. A cursory search will reveal numerous black dog pubs, black dog restaurants, and black dog inns scattered across England, and I can attest to that. Sure, anyone from England can as well. It also has, there is an even weirder aspect of the phantom black dog phenomenon. You know you're a cool cryptid when you got like an acronym, PBD, Papa Bravo Delta. It's not quite as cool as the MIB, but are they the DIB, the dogs in black? Oh, I went there. Namely, on occasion, they are seen with people, or at the very least, with humanoid entities. Back in September 1866, there occurred a sighting of a mournful-looking man in black attire near the hills of Lochanorb, or Lochendorb in Scotland, and he was seen by a terrified farmer strapped to the back of a large, fiendish dog that was prowling the same hills. The beast had a bit and a bridle in its mouth, and it was an incident that, like the Lochendorb confrontation that occurred in the 19th century. Now, the farmer didn't wait around to see what happened next, and he fled the hills for the safety of his home, fearful that the fiendish hound might wish to make him his next victim. It was probably a very wise move. And in 1934, a 12-year-old Ivan Vinnell had a very strange encounter indeed in his hometown of nearby Burntwood, Staffordshire, and that's in England. And the sun was beginning to set, and the young Ivan and a friend were getting ready to head home after an afternoon of playing hide and seek. Suddenly, however, the pair were stopped dead in its tracks by the shocking sight of a ghostly, tall, dark man who was accompanied by a black dog that had seemingly materialised out of a dense hedge, situated approximately 10 yards from the boy's position. Both man and animal passed by in complete and utter silence before disappearing, in typical and classic ghostly fashion, no less. Ivan later happened to mention the details of the unsettling incident to his uncle, who then quietly and guardedly proceeded to tell him that he too had actually seen the ghostly dog on several occasions when he was a young child. And, as it is typically the case with ghostly hounds all across the British Isles, the beast was always reportedly seen in the same location, namely, faithfully pacing along the old road that stretches from the village of Woodhouses to an area of Burntwood situated near the town's hospital. And Alan Godfrey's 1980 alien abduction in Todmorden in Yorkshire, England, was a classic case. The story got even stranger, however, when Godfrey went under hypnosis to try and figure out what had happened during a period of missing time. Now, while undergoing hypnotic regression, Godfrey said that, aside from seeing a human-looking alien entity on board a craft, he also encountered a large black dog. He said, well, I think it was a dog. Horrible, just looks like a dog. The size of an Alsatian, and no, Alsatian is UK for German Shepherd. I have to say I'm puzzled by these particular cases. For the most part, the PBD are seen alone. And that makes me wonder why there should be any such cases involving people or humanoids. The strange aspect of the mystery has yet to be resolved. Any theories out there? Yes, Jason, my world has become an endless string of synchronicities. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. You know, it could quite easy. You know, it would be easy for anyone, I think, to get caught up in the sync loop. And what I mean by that is, perhaps when we are seeing synchronicities, as I am, and I can only talk for myself here, maybe I'm also suffering from acute confirmation bias. Maybe I'm only seeing these synchronicities because I'm subconsciously looking for them. Where does the truth lie? Hopefully nowhere near a big bloody black dog. And that, ladies and gents, concludes our little chill out, our goofing off, our kicking back and relaxing with some infotainment. And I hope you had a little laugh. I hope you found something interesting along the way. Maybe something creeped you out. But those pesky black dogs. Yes, forget phantom black dogs. Pesky black dogs. That there is something I wouldn't want to come across on my travels. Oh, hell no. And in true synchronistic fashion, it makes me think back to when we had Billy Joe on the show. And I'll probably get kicked in the bum by Billy Joe today. I forgot to send her the link. Oh, my bad. Sorry. And Queen, I even forgot to send it to Queen, but she made it here. But she was talking about Skinwalker Ranch, and there's a famous story from the Skinwalker Ranch. And it was about a large black dog / wolf type animal. And the reason it sticks out is because pardon me. The reason it sticks out is because it tried to attack some of the cattle when the Myers had the property. And somebody there, one of the farm hands or the ranch hands, I don't know what you call them, rodeo dudes, right? He had a cowboy, basically. He had a gun on him, you know, and he shot the dog a number of times. And this was a pretty decent size of caliber handgun. Dog, not even bothered, oblivious to the fact that it just taken 6 to the side. So the person went away, got something bigger, shot it again. And again, the dog just kind of made its way away. They went to follow the dog, came to a stream, a bit of water. They went through the water, they followed the prints down through the mud into the water. Prints come out the other side, up the mud. And gone. What dog? Just gone. Pesky, black, phantom dogs. And with that in mind, I want to invite you all to join me in just over half an hour's time. I've had a real blast today. Really had fun with this. And I want to thank you all. You know, yeah, we all know there's really serious stuff going on in the world right now, but I certainly don't see what I can contribute to what else has already been said out there in any way, shape, or form that's going to change anything. And I really want to thank you lot out there because, yeah, I think you appreciate it and you enjoy it more when I do the woo anyway. I think we can all tell I'm happier doing the woo. Now, that doesn't mean I turn a blind eye and I'm not getting involved in all of this real stuff that's out there. But I just don't think it's my place to be that guy. Now, as the week goes on and we open up the phones on the show, are people going to talk about it? I would imagine so. And that's okay, because that's when KBS becomes your KBS and you get your say. So I just want to thank you again for knowing that, or understanding that I enjoy doing what we've done here 10 times more than, you know, getting into all that really serious stuff. And at the end of it, what have we solved? Just about nothing. We stress out over it. We concentrate on it. We feed that energy into it. And I'm not saying ignoring it's going to make it go away. I'm not daring to say that. But I know that you all appreciate that you don't come to KBS to get all the geopolitical problems in the world solved. You come here to goof out with the number one abnormal show on any and no network all at once. And we are on the network. Yes, we are. TFRlive.com. And I'll be over there in about 31 minutes. And with me, I will have Steve and Jen Hodgson. And tonight, we're going to be talking about, get a load of this, exploring the unknown through accounts from a paranormal investigation team, shall I say. Join us half an hour from now, TFRlive.com, TFR Live here on YouTube, iHeart, TuneIn Radio, TalkStream Live. Who knows where else, when else we go out there. Wherever you are, make it KBS on TFR.